My name is Jeremy MacDonald, and I'm a scuba diver. Most divers prefer tropical getaways, but I like looking for treasure in the Arctic. I live just below the Arctic Circle in a town called Yellowknife, where the winter temperatures drop below -40. People think we're kind of nuts to be jumping in the lake in the middle of January. Wedding rings, phones, skidoos, sunken cars, trucks, lost guns, historical artifacts. You never know what you're going to find in the dive. One of the best things about doing this up here in the north is I have great, amazing friends who love to come along for the diving as well. My name is Jeremy MacDonald, and this is Shit I Found Diving in Yellowknife. So today, we're going to look for a boat. There was a houseboat that caught on fire 2 years ago. Attached to that houseboat was like a 14-foot lund. I saw that before. Fred doesn't think I saw it. He thinks it's something else. So we're gonna go back and check and see maybe if it's actually salvageable and see if we can pull up a boat from the bottom of the lake.
So what's the plan for today there, Jer?
We're gonna go across the bay. There was a houseboat that sank about 2 years ago. So what we're gonna go do is check it out, check the status of it, and figure out if we can pop it up. I know you...
$5 that there's no boat we're salvaging. There'll be pieces. Come on.
I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I think we'll pull this sucker up, free boat, or at least a couple $100 from selling that boat once it's fixed up. Even if it's not salvageable, man, we could get a couple 100 pounds of junk out of the water and help us get the cleanup goals.
I like your enthusiasm.
For once, I appreciate that you like my enthusiasm.
Now get your shit ready.
It's been a great summer. What we've been doing as kind of an environmental thing for us is we have a goal of pulling out 10,000 pounds of debris out of the lake. So right now we're up to about 6,000 pounds. So if we can find like a burnt houseboat, there's probably a lot of weight and we can pull that up out of the lake and really get over our peak for the season. So you got your tank already connected and everything?
Yep.
Oh, beautiful day, man.
It is.
What we need to do is get over by that houseboat. I don't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was the green one.
You sure it wasn't that green one? Like the first one?
No.
I thought it was like under a houseboat.
Now this empty green barge, it was in between that and the houseboat. Because that lady parked the new houseboat right on top of where the old one was. Oh man. All right, double or nothing. We're up to $10 now. There's a boat and a busted ass houseboat underneath that houseboat.
The busted ass houseboat, yes. I recall.
Okay. And a busted boat.
Busted, yes.
$10.
Pieces.
Oh yeah, but not so broken that we can't fix it.
No. So where are we gonna tie off?
Hi. Can we tie off on the front of your houseboat for a bit? We're gonna dive on the sunken one that's below you. What's that?
What do you think is sunk here?
The old houseboat that burnt down 2 years ago.
There's nothing under there.
Penny parked her houseboat right on top of where the houseboat burnt down. I didn't think anyone was going to be home, so it was a complete surprise that we get to our dive spot and somebody's there.
Like seriously, what do you think is down there?
There's, well, the remains of the old houseboat.
No, the houseboat was floating on plastic barrels,
Yeah.
and the plastic barrels were all removed,
Okay.
and the whole float was taken over there, and taken apart by all the neighbors.
Interesting. Okay. Well, then maybe our intel's wrong, but we're just going to take a look. Is it okay if we tie up there to look?
Go ahead.
Sweet, thank you. So she was absolutely being hard on us and telling us not to go out there and not to dive, and there's nothing there, and they clean it all up. But then she let it be known that she lost a fin. All right, let's just pull over there. We'll tie up our cleat. So hey, we're in scuba gear. We tell her, we can get your fin for you, no problem. So all of a sudden she warms up to us. And we're like, all right, maybe this will work out. We can park here and do our thing. So based on what we just heard, everything was cleaned up. There's nothing left. So double or nothing, there's a boat down there. Doesn't matter the shape of it, but if there's a boat still down there, even if it's crushed in the front, $20.
Unless it's in pieces, in which case I was still correct. The original bet was you said that there was a salvageable boat. I am saying there is not a salvageable boat.
No. I'm saying like 80% of the boat is there. Not like, oh, hey, here's the oar lock, give me $20. No, I'm saying the hull is there.
I will take your money. And I feel bad because you have 2 kids that you're trying to support, but I will still take it.
Okay. Agreed. $20.
Before we came here, Jeremy was adamant that there was a boat that was salvageable down on the bottom, and I bet him $5 that there was not. But then he doubled it to $10, and I named Thrain, and then after Penny had said that, yeah, all the stuff was cleared up and that, he backed it off and wanted to double the bet again to change it to say that there was pieces of a boat down there that is obviously not a boat, that he owes me $20.
All right, come on in. All right, all set.
Yep.
All right, so we'll go down, swim along, 6 foot depth. Try not to kick up the sediment, and then we'll do a pass back.
Sounds good. And look for a boat.
And as we descend right there, the first thing we see is the remains of the old boat. So it's very clear that it's got a bow that's been crushed in by some stuff. We swim around a bit, so we see some other debris from the houseboat. There's some, looks like some large oil barrels. There's a lot of sheet metal, which probably was siding that's down there, and just other stuff that's partly burned from the fire that's sitting down there.
Well, I found a flipper,
Yeah.
but no boat.
What are you talking about?
There's metal frame marks there. There's no boat down there.
Dude! You jumped in the water, you hit the friggin' boat getting in.
That was not a boat.
It was a boat!
That was the rusted framework of the hull.
Oh my God.
The sun is over the yard arm. I'm about to sit. Thank you, you are my hero. Because I was going down myself to do some anchoring, but
Yeah, it was
bless your
actually
heart,
stuck up in the ground, so it stood out very easily.
Bravo. Thank you.
So we went down. There is a boat there.
It's not a boat, it's a canoe.
All right, there's a canoe there,
Aha!
or a boat.
Boat, ship, canoe. Well, that's Matthew's canoe with a hole in the side. We all know about that, Buffy.
Okay.
You want to attach it somewhere and winch it up? I have some come-alongs.
Well, there's a bunch of sheet metal and stuff down there too. There were some barrels and some other
There's
debris.
still a couple barrels.
Kim was floating on plastic barrels.
Yeah, no, there's a metal barrel down there. What I would like to do is, because we're doing this thing of getting 10,000 pounds out. The Legion gave us the money to do that this year.
You should come back and get that stuff.
If you're cool with that, I mean, I don't want to disturb your house. So I've got a friend with a boat. It's got a ramp on it. So maybe what we'll do is bring him out. We'll put the stuff, winch it up, put it on his boat, and we'll just sail away with it.
Absolutely brilliant. Would you like me to well, I do actually know where there's several, like, large wrecks, but that's...
This I want to hear about because I would love to find some of the wrecks.
Okay.
So what else do you know?
I'm a prospector and I'm very old. I know quite a lot.
That's fun. I'm going prospecting next week.
Where are you going?
Hidden Lake,
Why would you go there?
because there's gold there. Underwater. So what was amazing about her is that she was a prospector as well. She seems to know a lot of the stories and the histories about this place, and she was kind of chirping us back about the things that I want to do and the places I want to go.
Do you know how much lithium is there? Do you know how old those prospects are?
I didn't say I was a good prospector.
Okay. Well, you come. I drink Irish whiskey. I don't know what you drink, but you come over sometime without the crew and we'll talk.
All right. Penny mentioned having trouble getting in and out of her houseboat, so before we head back to shore, we do one last favor for her and retrieve a piece of a ladder. She can attach it to the back of her dock to make it easier for her to go for a swim.
Good deeds don't go unpunished.
Yeah, you know, this would be a great help for her. She had mentioned not being able to get in and out of the houseboat easily.
It's the perfect height, so.
Yeah, we're gonna come back in a couple weeks, give her a hand, and get some of that junk out of the water.
And then you'll lose $20 when it's not a canoe. Yes.
Thank you. You're my hero. Thank you.
Most of the debris that was down there probably has no value, so it's just scrap metal and burnt stuff. So in terms of salvage, it's kind of a net loss. But in terms of meeting Penny and what she seems to have for interesting stories and history and the background of the area, I think that's going to be worth every moment that we spend out there. So I'm really looking forward to coming back in a few weeks and doing this dive. 2 years ago, a houseboat caught on fire and everything that was on that sank to the bottom. So today we know that there's a bunch of debris from the houseboat that caught on fire. So there's a lot of what you would call building materials, so boards, siding, roofing that's down there. So this is the most dangerous dive that we've done. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your safety briefing. I'm Jeremy, the dive master for today. Today we're going to be doing a cleanup of a houseboat that burnt down 2 years ago. Today's dive is a bit more complex than our normal cleanup dives, as opposed to picking up bottles and trash. There's actually some larger items that we're going to be recovering from the lake today. Not only are we dealing with larger items, it's a bit of a complex environment that there's a new houseboat parked on top of the site, and as well we have the use of 2 boats that we're going to be using to help lift some of the larger debris. So there's going to be a lot of people on site, which does increase the complexity for this dive. We're going to have 6 divers, which is kind of a high number for us. We expect anywhere from 6 to 10 volunteers who are going to come help load and unload the debris that we find. And then we expect, just by being at the government dock, there'll be general interest of people from the community maybe coming and checking it out. So it's going to be a very busy, very active site, which does increase the danger level for us today. We have at least 2 boats that are going to be on site today, so we have to manage the movement of those boats and the props while the guys are in the water. So Ben has a 40-foot fishing trawler that actually has a winch on the side that we're going to be using to lift the heavy gear. And Norm has a really interesting boat that has a ramp on the front, like a landing craft. So we're going to use Ben's boat to lift up the material, and then we're going to use Norm's boat to load that material out of the water and then get it off site and clear it off for removal to the dump. The dive team preps the gear on the shore of Jolliffe Island, not far from Penny's houseboat. This is by far the busiest waterway of the Northwest Territories. With so many boats and float planes using the waterway, we're careful to use all of the proper flagging and buoys. So lower the anchor down.
We'll go down and we'll take a look. Ready, Claire?
Anchor lines, when you were coming up, one was just under 10. So the visibility is like
Crap.
0.
Yeah.
So this line comes out right towards this boat, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's another one
It
crossing.
goes that way.
Okay.
I really don't think it's worthwhile getting the small stuff
Okay.
because there's no visibility
Right.
down there.
So we'll stick to the large stuff today, get what we can. Do you want to put more divers in at the same time?
Like I feel, do you want to come in for me?
That's that cross line from there, right? Cross anchor from there and cross anchor from here. So there's
Hey, we
2
got
there.
cross anchors from this other boat.
Yeah.
This is a busy area. Claire, are you comfortable with this? Is there something you want to get out of the water and trade spots?
Well,
Same thing I've always said, guys. If there's something you're not comfortable with, you can stop and we'll figure it out.
in it as well. I got myself out of it.
Okay, all right. So you're taking over as dive or site manager. Claire, if you're not going to dive, we'll get you changed.
Yeah.
You can come help Chris, because if he needs to jump in the water, he's going to need help with zippers and mounting gear. if you go in the water, everything shuts down. So I don't care what the hell's going on, just if you need to go in, we stop.
The visibility was really bad, and the lines were crossing in a way that both Fred and I at one point got tangled, and it just is a little bit out of my comfort zone, I think. Once the winch gets hooked up, the visibility is going to get even worse, and I've never really had much experience with winches underwater or lift bags, so I feel like it would be better for Jeremy to come in. The boat definitely needs to come up. Both Penny's lines are rubbing on the rough metal, so eventually those lines will go if the boat isn't moved and there's a whole bunch of sheeting and stuff down there. But yeah, I'm heading back to shore to change out, and I'll just be an assist on the boat.
Eric,
Yep.
get suited up.
Roger.
They've had a look at it, so they need a third diver in just to be able to hold lines out of the way.
Seen. Ready in 5.
We're going to have to put a third diver in the water to hold anchor lines out of the way when we're pulling stuff, so that does make me a bit nervous about continuing on with this site. I'm not quite at the point of canceling it yet, but if there's any more dangers that come up, we'll have to shut this thing down. All right, everyone, here's what the plan is right now. There's a bunch of sheet metal and siding resting on top of what I say is a boat, what he says is debris. The debris looks like it's clear to pull up, so we'll go and attach. So I'm in charge of attaching to the boat. You guys make sure that each of these lines stay clear of it.
Are you going to need any lines, other lines, to attach? Okay.
The debris is good enough that we can get it in.
Okay.
And then we'll get out of the way. We'll swing Norman and see if we can't load it up. All right, you guys hold the lines. I'll attach, and down we go.
This was a dangerous dive because of all the cables and the parts, sharp nails, everything that there is underneath there. Some of these parts are much bigger than what we're normally accustomed to. One of the ideas was to bring a C-clamp. Unfortunately, the C-clamp on some of these parts will just slide. So we had to find the parts that had areas we could hook onto or wrap around and crush enough to be able to pull them out of the water.
Okay, go.
Yep.
Norm, do you want to get ready to come in and pick up the boat?
Okay,
Just gonna come in off the starboard side here, and where the winch side is.
So it's not like a solid boat, solid aluminum that's at the bottom. We've got stuff that's been corroded and actually burned. So any of that stuff can give way at any time. There's a risk of the winch snapping. I mean, we're not entirely sure what that's rated for. Take a look at the handle. Just make sure it's not strained or ready to pop. That's a lot of weight on that thing. It's probably not designed for that much.
Well, looks like it's doing good so far.
Okay.
How heavy is that?
I'm thinking with all this 500-600 hours.
Okay, coming up.
Look at the thing first, okay.
Oh,
Smoking.
smoking.
Like that. Okay, well.
That's it. That's all we have for winch right now. Okay. That's heavy.
That is a piece of a boat. That's the story of a boat. Come on.
I don't know, they look cool.
You can't see the gap on the side here.
No, it looks full from this
I don't know what the Navy's got.
It's usable.
I don't think that was the bet at the end of it, buddy. I'm pretty sure we said the majority of a boat.
The original bet was for salvage. We wanted to salvage the boat and use it. It is not salvage.
Oh, you're hooked on the...
Oh.
A bunch of ropes.
Those are going
Woo!
That's going to catch the fly.
Whatever it was, lost the center cloud down below.
Yeah, but we're also too far behind. We gotta go over that away from Easter.
Yeah.
The waves.
Is there any more goodies you guys want to throw in here?
Yes, I'll stick around.
So Fred's out. Can one of you guys just make sure he makes it to shore? Keep an eye out. So what we're going to do, we'll go down. We'll try and grab individual sheets.
So in this dive, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of opposing forces. We've got a winch attached to a floating boat. On the other end of that is a sunken boat or sunken debris. Some of that debris has settled in the sediment and basically has become a solid anchor point. The stuff that's at the bottom was damaged in the fire. We're really pushing the envelope on this. There's 2 boats on the go right now, so there's additional propellers that are going as we're trying to stabilize the site and get everything in. I've got tension on the line. I know we're going to have to tie on some more lines just to be able to load it into Ben's boat. I mean, it's a very dynamic and very changing situation. This is far more complex and more dangerous and very unstable compared to anything that we've done.
All right, so all anchor lines should be up, elevated. You should be good. Yep. Coming up.
Hold it and ripped off. Just gonna let the sediment come off. Okay, coming up.
Okay, you got to be really careful because it's hanging on by one nail.
Not piece there, it's just hanging on.
There we go. So my thought is if you bring a rope around it and then slowly bring it around. Careful, careful. Okay, more. More. Yeah, there. That's better. Good, nice. Okay, watch out front. Holy Christ, look at that. Okay, you're only touched by one thing now. Okay, just hold on. Coming down. Watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself. Good work. Easy. There you go.
We've got some of the siding out of the way, and we've got the boat out of the way. And I just discovered something awesome. There's a canoe that was buried under everything else. So I've got 2 boats for the price of 1 dive. As I'm looking at the canoe, I mean, this thing is as flat as a pancake. All of the fiberglass is melted. You can see scorching from the fire on the side of it. I mean, this canoe has been through a lot. All the guys are laughing and joking about the stuff that we find, and we know there's a bet ongoing. But one thing that we really need to keep in mind is that somebody had the worst day of their lives here. You know, Kimmy lost everything in this houseboat fire. Yeah, we're sifting through the remains of that. So there's somebody that this event has deeply affected. And we got to keep in mind that, you know, there's some sensitivities in there. And if there's anything that we can recover that can maybe give some kind of closure to her about what happened with this fire, we're going to make sure we can do that. Fred, I think we got some unfinished business here.
Yes, yes we do. And I hate to break it to you, but you're going to lose.
Okay, so we started off with a bet of $5, and I'm pretty sure the final state of the bet was $20 that we would get the majority of a boat, about 80% of the boat, not pieces of a boat broken in bits, but the vast majority of a boat. It does seem like we have 80% or better here. I mean, it's just a couple of small pieces off the side.
It's 3/4 of the hull on both sides.
No, dude, it's just a small chunk that's missing.
Like, I don't think you two are going to come to an agreement.
And it's worse on the other side. Look on the other side. Look on the other side.
Okay, we are at an impasse and we need to let some other people decide here.
And we're missing that seat, we're missing that, and we're missing the bow.
I would like a vote, hands in the air, yes, Jeremy wins.
Crickets.
You guys are killing me. Will you take an IOU?
Yes.
Fred, I owe you 20 bucks. Hey guys, all in all, still it was a great dive. We helped Penny out. We got a bunch of stuff away from her house. I was super nervous about doing this dive just because of all the things that could have gone wrong. Nothing went wrong. It was perfect just from planning right to execution to the end. So thanks guys for helping with this. It's been a great season, and hopefully we can do it again next year.